doing out there tonight? Thank you all for viewing in live. Thank you all YouTube subscribers. Thank you for my 289 YouTube subscribers. I appreciate you all. Thank you for my viewers. Please keep watching, sharing, and viewing and liking. Please continue to share, and like. I have a co-host tonight, and his name is
Quentin.
Hey, Quentin. Say hey, Quentin.
What's up, y'all?
And guess what I'm drinking on tonight, everybody? The same thing. Zinfandel, because guess what? Nobody is sending me no wine. I keep telling y'all, y'all send me a glass of wine in a bottle or a glass, and I would drink it. And I say, hey, like if it's you, Brian, to send it, I'll be like, Brian sent me a bottle of such and such, and I'll be like this. That tastes so good. That's what I do. That's what I would do. Quentin is drinking a good old healthy glass. Show him what you drinking, Quentin. He's drinking a good old He's drinking a good old healthy glass of OJ. Orange juice. Well, this is episode 15, guys. So
limited edition, though.
A limited edition orange juice.
Yeah, limited edition.
What Sunny D?
Limited edition.
Anyway.
Never tell your secrets.
Never tell your secrets. Okay. Well, anyway, we're going to go over the episode 14 comments from last week. And the comments, let's start with
14. Golly, they killing the comments.
I know, right? Episode 14, it says, Cynthia Y says, some states have a home wrecking law. She may want to look into that as well. Get them both in the pockets. People going to do whatever they want to do no matter what. You can still be best partners and they would still cheat. And he knew she was working as well. You can't trust nobody. Thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate your comment. Let me know in the... Hey, Keith. Hey, Brian. How are you doing? And let me know in the comments. Come in. Hey, cuz. He's working the computer tonight, y'all. So I keep telling him, let's get it right. Let's get it right.
Man, we good, man.
Irvin G comments, okay, before I say this, I am not condoning infidelity, but some things in life happen. With that being said, you never cheat on your woman with her family. That is an unwritten code. He definitely gets an L for not only cheating, but picking her family to do it with. The only thing worse is molesting a child. Sometimes life happens and people fall apart. Depending on what state she lives in, she could take legal actions against him. I do know North Carolina law, and they have a law against infidelity. They sure do, Irvin. They sure do. I think it's called, oh my God, what is it called? Alienation of affection. Alienation of affection.
Hey, Margaret.
Hey, Margaret. I think that's what it's called. Alienation of affection. And Nicole Marie comments from last week says, this is, she hit a long one, so I kind of narrowed it down as much as I possibly could. And she says, the girl with the dad is dead wrong. He sheltered her too much. And he's put a roof over her head. He's built this relationship with his daughter, and now that woman in the picture, he wants to kick her to the curb. I agree with you. Give her some time to move out. Shaking my damn head. I could never put my child out over a man. IBC, which means I don't care what age they are. Now, about the marriage, that is totally messed up. He absolutely blindsided her. They were doing more than just sleeping with each other behind her back. Like Brian said, how could they divorce so quickly? Money talks and bullshit walks. Did she really have a fighting chance? The both of them are asses and they both need a beat down. What she need to do is get herself together and play that fool. Play the fool. Like fucking driving by and baking. Don't fucking drive by. Bake a pie. Let me see. It says bake the pie, a kiss ass pie, and knock on the door and say God bless you. And I ain't talking about one of them grandma pies. I'm talking about that Mimi pie with more than shit in it. I know she's hurt, but what goes around comes around. And what is built on lies will fall on lies. And the same way she got him is the same way she will lose him. Thank you, Marie. I do appreciate your comments. Thank you all for your comments. Let's see who's in here the house tonight. We got Keith, we got Emmanuel, we got Margaret, we got Sabrina, we got Boogie. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It with Renee. I got my glass of Zinfandel by Livingston. I hope you all are drinking on something too. I'm going to take a sip for you again. See, he drinking orange juice. He don't know how to sip. He drinking, don't get up and get no more either. Okay, tonight's letter is to Babies Daddies. Okay. My name is Shaquanda. I have 2 children by 2 different men. My daughter is 7 years old and my son is 6. My daughter's father is more reliable and responsible than my son's father. My daughter's father has in the past done things and have provided for both of my children, even though my son is not his child. Even if either one of them needs something, he would do for both of them. He didn't want my son to feel left out. So when he would come by to pick up my daughter for weekend visitations, he would also take my son with them. That's what I admired most about him. 6 months ago, he started dating this woman who I could care less for, and vice versa. But now when he comes to pick up my daughter for visitation, he no longer wants to carry my son with him. He doesn't bring things for my son anymore, and my son doesn't understand why. So I asked my baby daddy about it, and he said he was trying to keep it real, and he wanted to keep confusion down because he is not my son's father, and that I need to start holding my son's father accountable for his actions. I got upset because I knew the new girlfriend had something to do with it. So I had stopped letting my daughter go with him on the weekends since my son can no longer go. He is only allowed to come by and visit my daughter. That way my son can still interact with him. My friends think I am wrong for taking away my daughter's individual time with her father. What do you think? What do you all think? What do you all think? What do you think, Quentin? He don't know.
What? I was doing something.
Okay, well, what do you think?
I mean, he shouldn't. I'm different. I think I would have kept doing regardless if I would have had a woman or not. Well, but she still shouldn't have took the right away from him seeing his child. That has nothing to do with it, because at the end of the day, it's really not his child. He was doing something that the father should have been doing.
The other father.
Which is giving him things and taking him up under his wing. Why he stopped, I don't know. Should he have stopped? No, I don't think he should have.
Maybe he shouldn't have started.
Yeah, that too.
You know, maybe he shouldn't have started. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can understand. You know, during my time when I was growing up, you would hear kids 2 or 3 in a family. You'd be like, your daddy this, and then they would run and tell mama she talking about my daddy, or he talking about my daddy, and they'll say stop talking about your daddy. I never understood, because I come from a home that had just the mother and the father. I didn't have multiple siblings. My mom didn't have multiple siblings, or children by multiple men. So I think that she did him an injustice. She should have kept her mouth closed and been thankful for the time that he did spend with this little boy, because he never ever had to spend one day. That's what you call a gentleman. That's what you call an outstanding guy, because he didn't have to do it. He didn't. For the little time that he did do it, for however long he did it, he didn't have to do that. And maybe this girl did come into the picture and say, hey, maybe wake him up and make him realize some things, because maybe this son could get attached to this little the little girl's dad as dad, and he's not the little boy's daddy. He's not. He's the little girl's, and he said, I want you to make the father responsible. So he wants the mother to make the little boy's father responsible. Hey, you got visitation, come around and see your child, Bring your child Christmas. Bring your child Easter. Call your child not just on holidays or special occasions. Call them maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And not just call them if you live in the area, go by and see them. And you know what? It wouldn't hurt if you stop by McDonald's and you're going to bring it by that child's house where there's another sibling. It wouldn't hurt to, bring the other kids something too. That's just the way I roll. I would never ever take my son over someone else's house with food and not have enough for everybody. That's showing and teaching him selfishness. And that's not what I'm trying to teach. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what you want to teach. Hey, Donna, how are you tonight? How you doing, girlfriend? It's a lot of people in the world that have children by multiple men. And sometimes, you might have 3 kids and one of the, dads are good and the other 2 dads are bad. But you cannot, you have to also let the children understand, don't be throwing that up in the other kid's face. Ooh, look what my daddy got me, and your daddy didn't get you anything, or my daddy come to visit me. That ain't your daddy, that's my daddy. You have to stop that. You know what I'm saying? Because that can make a child feel real bad. They can make them start having animosity towards each other, and that's not what you want. You need to thank this man for the time that he did spend with your daughter, and do not stop his individual visitation with this little girl because of you wanting him to be close to your son. That's not fair. She still needs that individual bonding time with her father, even though there's another woman there, and yes, she probably will be bonding with him. The other woman as well, him and his girlfriend, she will be bonding with the both of them. But you know what? If you don't have any jealousy in your heart and there's no animosity in your heart, then you should not care. Long as they're responsible and they're doing things, appropriate in front of the children, you should be thankful that they can show your children how a couple interact with each other until you get a couple. Until you get a man. It's healthy for children to see a man and a woman together. You know what I'm saying? It's healthy sometimes for them to see little bitty arguments, no big arguments, nothing to where you... But everybody in life argues, and we teaching our children about life. But there's also a way when we argue to handle things. The little boy don't understand why he can't go around his sister's father anymore. So that's something that should have never been started. So yeah, he can go over and visit the son inside the mother's home, because obviously she's going to allow that, and during that time he can maybe spend a little bit of time with the son. But after maybe 20 or 30 minutes, grab your daughter and say, hey, okay, I see you on the way back, me and such we're going somewhere, we'll bring you something home, because since you started this, you don't want to stop it, because as a child is not going to understand that. A child is not going to understand that. What do you all think, Donna? What do you think, Boogie? What do you think, Sabrina? What do you think, Margaret? Hey, Michelle, how are you doing? What do you think? Do you think when you have 2 baby daddies that they should be responsible for both kids? If you got one father that's irresponsible and one that's responsible, and he's been taking on the role of both parents, and spending time with the other child that's not his, do you think it's fair for the woman to get upset when that time is no longer there and that time is cut? Does she have a right to get upset and hold her child that is his captive on the weekends from having visitation or going away visitation with her father, so her son can still be in his life? I don't think that's fair. Sometimes we get good men and we let them go. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I got something to say real quick. I'm looking for a permanent co-host.
Anyway, back to my comment. I mean, yeah, you could do that, but if I'm gonna start doing something for somebody else's kid, I'm gonna keep doing it. So that's just me.
Regardless.
Yeah, and if I gotta be the father figure or whatever for him, because his father ain't in his life.
What if your girlfriend come into the picture and say, hey, this is not your child. You don't need to be doing this for him.
I'm just going to put her in her place and like, nah.
And what's her place?
I'm going to tell her what it is and what it ain't.
And what is it?
I'm going to tell her I'm going to keep doing for the child. If he ain't got no role model, then I'll be his role model. You can call me dad if you want to. Well, he ain't got to.
So what if she have a problem with that and it causes animosity when you and her relationship?
She get on about her business.
She can get on. She can kick rock.
She can get on about her business.
Oh, well, y'all hear that? So y'all know if you mess with this one and you come with a baby daddy, two babies, he gonna take care of both of them. Cause that's the that's the kind of son I raised. That's the kind of, but it's not his time yet. He's still young. You know, he got about 10 good years before he can produce a seed. No. Yeah. When you think you're gonna have a kid, you're married first, right?
I mean, yeah, but I'm saying.
Anyway, what do you all think about the letter? But I have a question for you all. Let me see what you all think.
Said, girl, I have grandkids by 4 guys, but 2 are not bonding with their fathers. Ooh.
But let me ask you this, Donna. Is it okay for them to bond with the other 2 that are good? You wouldn't have a problem with that, would you? I mean, as long as they have like role models in their life, right? Because remember the way we were taught when we were growing up, Donna, that it takes a village to raise to raise one child.
How you impact people.
Yeah.
She said, you alright about this.
Oh, girl, please, honey. I apologize for the way I speak, girl, because I still got that hillbilly West Virginia mountain mama twang on me, okay?
That's terrible.
He hates it. But is it okay for, they don't do the dirty dozens with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, my daddy is better than your daddy, or my daddy got me this for Christmas, Or how do it feel when Christmas time come and you got 2 dads that's did for their children and then 3 children that ain't got dads who did for them? How do you balance that, to make them feel equal and not competitors and envy of each other? Let's see. What she say? You good? Oh, yeah. So let me ask you all this question.
What?
Do you think it's okay for a person to have multiple sexual partners in front of their children? Say you a single father or you a single mother and you may have 1 or 2 children and you're promiscuous, you out there, do you think it's cool for you to show bring a man home that night and your daughters see him and then, she's awake when you come home and then she's in the bed by the time you all get ready, to do whatever. She's supposed to be asleep. Do you have sex in the house while your children are in the house when your rooms are right next to each other? When I was single, I never demonstrate that to my son. My son has only seen me with 2 men my whole life. And that is his father and my husband now. He never said, did I date? Yes, I dated. But it wasn't up for me to disrespect my house nor my son by pleasing my flesh instead of respecting, my son and the way he grew up and the way he viewed things. You know what I'm saying? I never had sex in my home while my son was in my home. You know what I'm saying? Kids hear things. They can hear moaning. They can hear groaning. And then when they start acting out and being frisky, wanting to touchy on each other, wanting to, experiment before their time, then what? Then what do you do?
Margaret said that's a
Speak loud.
Margaret said that's a tough situation. I wonder if the same rules apply to the girlfriend's kids. If she has any, would it be fair to take part in her kids' lives? Those aren't his kids either.
Hey, Margaret, you know what? You know the way that works? I have seen people, and I'm sure you have seen people, and I'm sure we've all seen people, men, who have gotten in relationships, had babies with somebody, stick around for 2 or 3 years, you know what I'm saying? Then they move on to another girl who already got kids, and they take care of those kids that's not theirs, but won't take care of the kids they created with the woman that they left. I mean, it is so many men that do that. They'll forget their biological kids' Christmas, but then buy the girlfriend's children's Christmas. They won't take their kids to baseball games, but take their girlfriend's kids to baseball games. Why do they forget about their own blood and their biological line for girlfriend or boyfriend's kids? Why they do that? What does Brian say?
I don't know, but Brian, that's what I was talking about.
Okay.
Brian said, I don't think he should have stopped interacting with the son all of a sudden. That little boy gonna think he done something wrong.
Yeah.
Got to wonder what's going through his head. It takes a real man to raise a child. Don't blame the child because the sperm donor won't step up. that little boy will appreciate him when he grows up.
Yep. And sometimes, Brian, you know what? They appreciate you more than your own kids do. You know what I'm saying? You know, when we get older and we get in our 60s and 70s or whatever, and we need our children to maybe run a couple of errands for us, you know, maybe fill a couple of prescriptions, and it be our blood sometimes that don't even want to do it. It's the ones that's cutting up, the ones that you raised. But you know what I'm saying? The one that you took that special interest in that didn't have anybody, they will be the one sometimes that stick with you to the end. You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame that it's like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's nothing wrong with him being a role model to that little boy as long as he ain't trying to role model up in that little boy's mama. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So let me ask you all, do you all think it's cool to sleep around with multiple men and bring multiple men in front of your children? You know, say they 12 years old and they're able to stay up, you know, or they be able to be at home by themselves, and you and your girlfriends went to the nightclub and you want to do a one night stand with somebody. Hey, he looking good. Hey, you want to move, you know, everything looking good, and you've been drinking and everything. Do you bring that man home where you know your daughter's head is laying in that bed asleep? When you know you're going to be moaning and you're going to be groaning. And people always want to sit and say, oh, they sleep. No, they don't be. Trust me, I know they don't be. They don't be sleep. They hear things. And they ain't going to tell you that they heard it, but they'll tell an auntie, or they'll tell, you know, one of mama's friends or somebody, you know what I'm saying? I heard, from the bedroom. I think he was in there hurting my mommy. No, that's not what it was. He was in there humping your mama. But you know what I'm saying? So what do you think your children are laying in that bed listening to, and what do you think their body reactions are? What hormones do you think you were stirring up when you were in the next room? Disrespect, even though it's your house. But you have to respect your children. Is it okay, you understand what I'm saying, because you grown and you got your own house, to bring a girl in your home or a man in your home and display sexual behaviors in front of them, whether it be kissing them, sitting on their lap, you know what I'm saying, and your children are sitting right there? When does it come about the children and not about you? You know, I never wanted to serve my flesh that way. It's never been that great of a deal to me. If you cannot accept me for my morals and the way I display myself, no, you can't come around me and my son. It took my husband that I'm married to now, it took me 1.5 years before he met my son. You know why? Because I wanted to make sure. I didn't want just anybody running up in my home. I didn't want my son to be a grown man in his 30s and 40s telling his wife or his children, my mom had many men. You know, I watched them disrespect her. I watched them beat on her. I watched them do this. That is not what I want my son to be left with the memory of telling his children when I pass on. What does Margaret say?
Honey, I have lived it. My daughter's biological father didn't see her, but adopted his new wife's kids. Thank God for my husband. He's always taking care of both my kids.
See, Margaret, you know what I'm saying? Because, and don't that hurt, though? That hurt, but you know what, though? God sees everything. You know, they think they're getting away with something. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? They reap what they sow. They reap what they sow, and what goes around comes around. You know, and it doesn't only hurt you as a mother, but what even hurts you more as a mother, to watch the reaction of your children. Because they know and they see this. They go around and they may go to a store and they may see somebody, their dad at the store with these other kids, and the dad's going to act all nonchalant. You know, that's not cool. That's not cool. What does Donna say?
If a man or woman cannot respect one's child, they should not come to your house.
Hey, but guess what, Donna? You know that happens though, don't it, girl? Don't it? Nope, but they do. But they do. And sometimes they come there when you ghetto with it, and you know we got them ghetto. We got those. They come to your house with their babies in the car, ready to throw down and fight you. Some of them even be having their babies on their shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Fighting. You see them on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy, because at some point they've lost respect not only for themselves but for their children. They've lost respect, and it hurts. But you know what? Let me tell you something. God don't work on our time. He worked on his own time. If he worked on our time, they would make him the slave and us the master. And we're not his master. He is our master. Trust me, he sees all. And what the devil may make them think that they're getting away with, they're not getting away with. they're not getting away with. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? You know, we don't know how God has it planned that they reap what they sow. It's not up to us. See, as humans, we want us to pay for things right now. Get them back right now. We're going to get them back. No, God said vengeance is his. You know, and sometimes I fall short of that because we're human and we're born with that seed of sin. We're born with that. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, you know, as hard as it is, you know, God says be patient. You know, wait on him. You know, the devil don't want us to wait on him. You know what I'm saying? We have to pray and ask God to protect the children because they grew up in a time that we didn't grow up in. Our time was horrible. But good God, the world is much, much worse now than it's ever been. That's why I have to drink my glass, you know, only on Sundays. Trust me. And it's so cold. I love it when it's cold, y'all. You better be sending me them bottles. But listen, we as mothers, we as fathers, one day we're going to grow old. And our children remember what we do to them, what we say to them, how we interact with them. You never know. One day you might need one of your children's kidneys. You might need a heart transplant. You might need blood. You just don't know. You may have Alzheimer's and need them to take care of you. Put you in a nice nursing home. How can you expect your children to do right by you when they have bad memories of you in their head of the way you treated them? And like I said, what goes around comes around. So you don't think about it then, because right now you're living a good life. You're young, you're vibrant, you really ain't got no issues. But one day your health will fail you. Memories fail. We all have a date with death, whether we want it or not. We have to watch how we treat our children. We have to watch what we do in front of our children. We have to monitor our children's phone calls to keep the pornography away from them. You know, they see enough sex. They see enough crime on the news. You don't have to watch computer shows, media, or shows on the internet. All you have to do is turn the news on, and you can get every filthy, derogatory thing you ever wanted from the news, because guess what? They report it. They report it because that's their job. You know, it keeps us aware. But we cannot keep filling our heads full of this kind of negative stuff. We have to take care of the children, you know, at any expense necessary. You know what I'm saying? We have to keep their mind pure, and we have to keep their mind innocent, because we know how it feels to have dirty minds at an early age. We know how it feels to have been touched when we shouldn't have been touched. We know how it feels to have a daddy to buy one child something and not the other child. Favoritism leads to competitivism, and that's not what we want our children to be, and that's not what we want to participate in as an adult. As an adult, be happy that some men have taken initiative to take a role in your son's life, because you know how many men don't. You know how many men have sons and they don't do the right things by their sons? Everybody wants. It's nothing wrong with having a daughter. Daughters are loved, but you know, you always hear a man talking about they want a son. They want this sport, this athlete, this little boy to play football, basketball. They want to see their dreams in this son. But then what? When the next best booty come by, or you have a serious argument with your spouse or whatever, you ready to walk away from your children, when God told us to be patient and let him handle that. That's why everybody ain't going where he say go. Because everybody ain't born with patience. And sometimes I don't have it, but I pray for them. You know, sometimes you got to pray for patience. You got to pray for it, you know. But listen, what do you all think? Do you think it is cool to have sex, multiple sexual partners, multiple people around your innocent children? And if you do, think about how you felt if it was done to you. Think about as a child what you may have heard that you didn't want to hear. And think about how you say that you would never expose your kids to things that you are now exposing your kids to. Let me tell you something. Any man that can play man to somebody else's kids on top of his, not leaving his out, making sure the kids is on top. Let me tell you something. God says he looks at those who can love thy neighbor. And the neighbor is not just the people who live beside you. That's everybody in the world. That's everybody in the world. And I love everybody in the world. And some don't love me. I give you a prime example, and then I'm going to get ready to go. I was at Walmart the other day, and I was standing in line running my mouth like I normally do, because I talk to people. And I was talking to a young lady behind me. She was standing with her mother. And, I turned around and I said, thank you for being patient with me. And I turned to embrace her to give her a hug. Well, the daughter accepted my hug. And when I turned to give her mother a hug, her mother said, do not touch me. That was designed to break me. The devil put her there to break me. But guess what? I serve a higher power. Sometimes, you have to dust it off. And say, guess what? I'm doing the Lord's work and it ain't easy. But he recognizes it. And he says he remembers what we do. So you all continue to try to do right by the children. Watch what we do. Watch what we say. Because this is like it. And good God, the world is in bad shape. We don't want little hoodlums running around that don't care for nobody but themselves, taking care of this world that God designed for everybody. If you have any comments about tonight's show, please comment, inbox me, anything. If you have any suggestions, if you want to talk about anything, it doesn't matter. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your plate. You don't like your boss, your coworker get on your nerve. You can't, your mama's boyfriend, how bad breath, somebody's breath is stink. Whatever you want to talk about. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. And I do it with love. We kid around a lot on this show, but I really am looking for a permanent co-host. Because I'm like getting tired of somebody. But I'm thankful. But goodness, Lord, have mercy, help a sister out. Anyway, I want to thank my 287 subscribers, I think it was as of earlier. Thank my 287 subscribers for subscribing. I have 287 people who believe in me. I started out with 1, and then I got 287. So I thank you all. Continue to share my thoughts. Continue to like. This ain't no professional show, but it's my show, and ain't nothing I say law. So I appreciate you all, Donna. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate you. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, everybody who joined in. Listen, as I state, once I log off of Facebook and I stop going live, this will be deleted from Facebook. You will not be able to get this on Facebook. You will have to tune in later on tonight and get it tonight or early tomorrow morning on YouTube. I do appreciate you all for tuning in with us. We love you. We were taught to love. You can't love God if I can't love you. I can't love God if I can't love you. Hey, and guess what? He said ain't nothing wrong with drinking a little bit of wine as long as I don't indulge myself in it. I'm not going to indulge myself in it. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Thank you all, Nicole Marie, Donna, Keela, Denise, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for joining us. This time, next week, same spot. Put some notes in my inbox. I'm sure you got things you want to talk about. I don't really have to tell your name because you see I don't tell names all the time. It's only if you want your name used. I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner, but I am human, and I was taught to love. And I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Because if you have a problem with it, you have to talk to the man upstairs, and trust me, he wants you to love back. So until next time, you all, take care of yourself. Drink you a nice glass. Get in the tub. Think about the show. Have a laugh. I love you all. Keep subscribing. Keep viewing. Keep liking. Keep sharing. And listen, y'all. I like my new wig. Y'all like this. Ooh, honey. I put a little boost in this thing. It's late night. Anyway, I love you all. Take care of yourself. Deuces. Till next time.